VR has spiked. Like it's getting huge now.
Like what?
Everybody's getting.
I always wanted to get into VR. Like, what's the recommendation for that? Like, and what's like the price range? I know, like in terms of the PlayStation ones, I know there's a new one that's going to be coming on the next year, PS5. And I think I might wait for that too.
Usually recently the PlayStation VR hasn't been that great. Like me personally, I'm pretty critical with VR headsets.
But what is it like? The headset or is it like the controller?
With PSVR, you get both.
Yeah, no. But I'm saying, like, what do you think the issue is? Is it both? I guess.
It was just because PlayStation, they just kind of bound it to the PlayStation. They didn't let you play anything else.
Yeah.
And it was just it wasn't room scale, which is basically you can set up a play space and move around, do whatever the heck you want. It was just you sit still, you move your arms around, and then it was basically just like imagine one of those interactive rides, for example, at Disneyland, I guess, where you go on a train ride and then you have a little blaster.
Yep.
And you go down the thing and you're just shooting things. That's basically what PSVR was a lot of. But recently, there are different types of VR headsets. There is lighthouse tracking, which you set up a base station on two corners of your room or however many you want.
Yep.
And then it tracks the headset, and it's very accurate tracking. It's just expensive.
Okay.
But then there's Inside Out, which is like the Quest 2, which came out, which is also very good for a starter headset. Mm-hmm. It's Facebook, which I kind of I don't really like, but
no.
It's a cheap headset. It's good to get into VR because you don't need a computer to run the Quest 2. Yeah. It's basically got a computer inside of itself. Mm-hmm. So you just get the Quest 2 and it's a standalone thing. It's inside out tracking, so it has cameras on the headset that look at your controllers. You just turn it on, pick a game to play, and then you go and play whatever the heck you want. It's like its own console, basically.
And how's like the game library? How much do you pay for these games? Like how much is it like?
Well, for me, I have Steam VR, lighthouse tracking Steam VR, so I get whatever games I can find on Steam I can play, which is a lot of games.
What will you play? Like you play in your room and just kind of like.
Yeah, I like my whole. I cleared out my whole room. Like, for example, let's say my room was this side of the couch to that side of the living room. Mm-hmm. It was basically like table's gone, that's gone, most of the couch is gone. It's just open, empty space in my room. Yeah. Just so I can move around and play VR.
Playroom,
yeah.
That's joke.
And then of course I got my bed on the side. And then
you actually like, for example, like we would play something, you like walk around with. Like,
yeah. When I like a lot of the times when I'm playing, because I play a lot of shooting games, obviously.
Yeah.
But when I'm clearing rooms, most of the time it's not very accurate to just use the joystick on your controller because you can move a little too fast, a little too far, not enough, kind of thing. So what I would do is usually I move close. Let's say I want to get through a door. I move my play space to a spot where I'm near the door, but then I have, for example, I'll go to one corner of my room, I'll move up next to the door, and then if I were to move through the door, that would be where my play space goes. Yeah. So I can move in real life, clear the room like as I would, and then actually walk into the room.
Yep.
In the VR space, but not, of course, smash into a wall in my room.
Yeah.
And then, of course, once I do my entry clear, then of course I just move around normally with the VR controller. Recenter myself in the room, make sure I don't run into another wall, and then yeah. So yeah, there's the PlaySpace VR, which I love. That is like, if you get a VR headset, I recommend trying to set up room scale VR. But then if you can, of course, there is just standing VR where you can't move around, but you can do, like, you can turn around on the spot, you can whatever, so it's still pretty cool.
And what's like the recommendations? Like what's like the price range for these things?
Quest 2 I think is like $600 Canadian, $600, $500, which is probably the cheapest you'll get right now.
Really?
For a good good
headset.
One.
Yeah, a good one. Yeah.
But the most expensive, it can go up to like, well, the most recent, I guess, highest end consumer one is probably $5,000.
Wow.
Something like that. But that one just went from a business headset to a consumer headset.
Oh, I see. So stuff for like prototypes.
Yeah.
Right?
So it kind of goes. There's a huge range of headsets you can buy.
Well, I've actually never tried like any sort of VR. Like, how does it feel like when you put that thing on? Like, do you feel like you're actually in that world? Like,
yeah.
Wow. So it's just like, I guess just your eyes, and it just brings you, like, you can't see anything else, right? You could just see inside here, right?
Yeah. Like the Gen 1 headsets, like the first headsets, of course you had some light leakage where you can still see the outside, but the newer headsets have done a really good job with ergonomics and making sure like all you can see is the game world. It's really cool.
Wow. So like, yeah, you feel like you're actually in there, like you're in your. Wow, dude. It's like it took like, you remember when the Wii came out? Like, and that was the first time you really seen a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, with the
like
motion
moving around.
And stuff, yeah.
That just like took another level, right? Virtual reality.
Cool.
I know your brother was saying. I never asked you about it, but apparently you're thinking of getting into VR, right? Like VR development or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm in right now.
Are you actually in it?
Yeah. XR development. It's XR basically meaning artificial / virtual reality.
Yeah, okay.
Or not artificial, augmented / virtual reality. So augmented would be like if you pull up Snapchat, you do a filter and then there's like a thing standing on your table and you can move it around. That's augmented. And then virtual reality is the headset, of course, which is what I want to focus on.
Yeah. So wait, so you're actually in what are you?
I'm in it right now. I'm in a class for XR development.
Okay.
So yeah, we go into. It's based around Unity and C#, which is a coding program or a coding language. Sorry. So we just go in there. We so far we've practiced around a couple programs. We've just we've just gotten into VR.
Yeah.
So we're basically we did our basics for C# and Unity just to figure out how the heck it works. And then now we're finally doing our VR projects.
Wow. Jeez. So like, how's like that? How's it to make it? Like, I mean, you're making like what, like software?
Well, right now we're just starting simple. We're making just simple mini games, grab objects, throw them, just getting used to how everything works.
Really?
Like proper key binding, key management, and like interactions, I guess, in VR. And then now we're getting into, after the Christmas break, we're getting more into movement in VR. So there's teleport movement, which is safer, but I personally like smooth movement, which is you just slide around basically. Mm-hmm. Then you can experiment with different types of movements, different interactions. So it's
That's
pretty
crazy.
cool.
So like, what made you change like that photography route to like working on virtual reality and stuff?
Well, like my original route wasn't necessarily photography. It was kind of a broad course.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Which is just stuff I was kind of interested in. I kind of liked photography. I liked into Photoshop, Illustrator, all that kind of stuff. It was kind of like Comtech in high school. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my broad thing. But then eventually I was like, you know what? I want to really push the VR development.
Is it just VR? Like, would you go into gaming, like game creation?
Yeah, it's just VR in general. But then through VR, you can do VR advertising. You can do website design in VR, you can do videos in VR, and then of course games in VR. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. Which I do want to try a game in VR. Yeah. But that, of course, I don't need to. I don't want to move too fast.
No. Just work at your own pace.
Yeah, I don't let my feet first.
I don't know what it's with people, like with this like stigma where it's kind of like
you gotta.
It's kind of like, oh, you gotta, okay, come on, you gotta get a job, get through school.
Go do school right away. Don't take a break.
It's like we're gonna be doing this for the rest of our fucking life. So just fucking relax.
Like for me, I did end up taking a year off, but then halfway through the year, I found the VR course, and I was like, okay, I want to do this.
Where are you at right now? U of T?
Yeah, U of T.
Really? Wow. U of T, smart guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't like saying like, oh my god, I'm from U of T, and then people are like, oh my god, U of T. Yeah. I don't really care for that, but it's like
it's kind of fun.
I just care about the VR, what I'm in, rather than the school it's being hosted at.
So I never knew U of T would actually do that type of stuff, like.
Yeah, I guess U of T does a lot of different stuff. But.
When I think of VR, I don't know. I think of U of T, I just think of hard at work, you know, like calculus, like that's what I think of. So complete opposite. That's what's funny. That's good though.